everybody, I'm Jenny. Welcome to The Edge Confidential. I am here with James. How are you?
Pleasure to meet you, yeah.
Thanks for coming on today.
Yeah.
So James is with Barn Life Recovery out here in Orange County, California, and also Peer Mental Wellness. We'll get into that later on in the show. Please stay tuned for that because what you guys are doing is amazing, so we want to hear all about that. First and foremost, I hear an accent.
Yes, Staten Island, New York, born and raised.
Staten Island, New York. I love those accents.
Yeah.
So what is it about New Yorkers? Because I'm from Canada, right? And when I came out here, I learned about, different parts of the country, and New Yorkers have this reputation.
Ego.
But what is it? Where does it come from?
It's a stigma. It's
Is it
different.
a stigma or is it real?
It is real. You know what? I lied. You caught me. It is real. I don't know. I think the New York that I grew up in was much different than the New York now. I just went back and visited, but
in what way?
Culture.
In what way, though?
The culture.
Okay.
The deep-rooted culture is definitely one. The city's always changing. I'll always have a connection to the city, but family. Oh my God, I have a very big family, very Italian.
Okay.
So my father's like one of 14 and counting.
Wow.
We're still finding out. An uncle of mine just did 23andMe. We realized we had enough. So the family. I grew up in a neighborhood where someone made wine in his basement, who had the garden. It was like a very old school Italian neighborhood.
That's cool. I'm Italian too, so
yeah.
I get it, but the Canadian.
The
Italians. A little different.
Yeah.
A little different. Okay, so you're from out there. How long have you been out here for?
So I moved out to California in 2016.
Okay, 2016, that's when I got sober. Good year. So
Me too.
You came out in 2016. Did you come out here for work or pleasure or what happened?
To get sober.
To get sober.
Same as you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were in New Jersey. Is there many resources out there for treatment? I know one place out there, but I don't know. It's not the same as here, right?
Right.
Okay.
There is. It's different. Recovery there is much different than recovery here. There are a lot of places. It's just so heavily populated there that the places, even though there are a decent amount of places, it's so overwhelmed.
Got it.
A lot of places are, you're more of just like a number, whereas out here, you get more of an individual care.
Got it.
A lot of different, how do I say it, lanes of care, holistic and all these type of things. They don't really have that back there. It's mostly just like the AA, NA ordeal.
Okay.
So my first stint in recovery was out there. From Staten Island, I left. I went to New Jersey, a place called Discovery Institute, where I detoxed and stayed for 30 days.
Yeah.
Was dying to get out of there early. You know, it's like, I say this all the time. And I hate quoting people, but it's like that pink cloud, right? And I was like, I wanted to get out soon because Thanksgiving was around the corner. I was like, I want to spend it with my family.
Yeah.
And boom, I get out, and it maybe lasted 2 months. And then boom, I'm back in.
Yeah, I have the same story. I tried to get sober once before, 2016, way back. And for me, it was pills, right? And I went to a treatment center up in Malibu, and I was 28 days in, and I'm like, I'm good.
Getting out of here.
I'm going to get out of here. I got stuff to do. I got people to see. And that obviously didn't work out too well. So what was your get down? What were you doing that you needed to go to detox?
So, wow. Started young. New York City grew up quick. So, I was experimenting with substances, I would say as early as 15, 16. I started smoking pot way younger. I was like freshman, maybe 8th grade in high school. And it was cool. It was fun. It wasn't really an issue. When you're young, the consequences aren't really as bad, right? And then it took a spike in 2007. I was in a car accident. Bad car accident. I had the left side of my face reconstructed. I had reconstructive surgery.
Oh, wow.
And boom, that's when the painkillers took the scene.
Okay.
And so I guess you could say, everyone likes to point the finger at the doctors, right? They're still humans too. The scripts were written pretty loosely. You can go to quite a few doctors back then. But ultimately it was my choice. And so I went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And it was all the above. It wasn't just pain medication, although that was the backbone, right? But there was Xanax, Adderall, there was cocaine, you name it. And then it just escalated. you know, the pills weren't really doing it for me. And then I realized that they are worth much more selling than doing.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I moved on to heroin.
Got it.
You know, and then I'm like 27 years old. It's 2016. You know, I had problems with the law. I'm like, what am I doing? I have a great job. You know, I make great money, have the girlfriend, the dog, the car. I'm like, what am I doing with myself? I'm miserable. I need a change.
Yeah, and that's the case so often where it like starts out with, you know, doctor prescribed, you have an accident. I mean, I hear it time and time again. That was the same for me. It wasn't a car accident, but I was doctor prescribed at first too. And at some point we do have to become accountable for ourselves in that process. But so many times you hear that and it's like, okay, it starts out with the pills and then it leads to this and it leads to this and it leads to this. And then we're like, oh my God, you know, what did I do?
Right.
And your life's become unmanageable and you're losing everything that you had. And then you realize you really got to do something about it. When you were going through that process, like when did you finally have the moment where you're like, wow, this is not manageable. I'm out of control. I need to get help. What did that look like?
Good question. I always knew in the back of my head that this can't go on forever. This has to end. Even when I got the prescription painkillers, it's like, once I realized I was fully dependent on it, I'm like, this can't go on for too much longer. I mean, I couldn't get out of bed. And then in working in the construction field, it's like, so now I'm doing concrete. If I don't have a painkiller, I mean, you know what it feels like. It's like you feel like you have the flu, you can't move.
Yeah, it's the worst.
And then I would go to work sometimes 2 or 3 days at a time, and I'm like breaking down bricks or, you know, pouring concrete, and I'm miserable. So that's how it kind of hooked me. I mean, I knew from the get-go that it wasn't going to last forever, but I wasn't ready to give it up. It was sort of my like security blanket, so to speak, because it muted the injury, right? And, you know, I did have some back issues and stuff. Nothing that couldn't be worked out with a little stretching and exercise, right? But, and then, you know, I took a painkiller, 2 painkillers in the morning, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I could do whatever and more, you know? So there was that, and then it just got way out of hand to the point where I think, what was I? I was in it, let's see, almost 10 years, really, 8.5, 9 years. And then I'm like, enough is enough. Yeah. I just hit a rock bottom where, wasn't like financially, more so like morally with myself, that like, at 27 years old, I shouldn't be this upset. I shouldn't be this miserable. This out of it. This is like the golden years of my life. Right. You know, it's like, why am I living like this?
And instead you're controlled by the substance that if you try to stop taking, you're either going to be in the ER or in a bathtub for a couple weeks and God knows what else. So
I would do it time and time again. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times that I actually got off of it, you know, for days, weeks at a time, just suffering miserably. Or I became a professional at detoxing myself. I would have methadone. Or Suboxone, and I would do it to the point where I was so good at it, where I could just take methadone for like 5 days. I wouldn't even take a lot. I would take 10 milligrams, maybe 20 milligrams one day, and I'd be good for like 2 days. And then boom, on that 5th, 6th day, I'm like, I feel okay. But guess what? I got work Monday morning.
And then you're right back at it, the justifications and the things that we do when we're in our sickness, you know. So what would you say to people out there? Because so many people are going through it. They've been injured or they've just started taking pain medicine. Like when you look back, right, when that very first started, what would be your advice, suggestion from your own experience?
Wow, it's a good one. When you're in it, you're in it. It took me so long, I feel, to realize that there is a better way, but there is. For me, it was the me work. It was the work that I did, and I used AA. I didn't use NA. It started with the steps for me, so I really had nothing to lose when I came out here. I was just miserable. What worked for me was AA. I have a great story. When I first got sober, I went to a place called Above It All. When I first came out to California, they had this old timer there. I mean, the guy is 80 years old. His name was Fred, and he's from New York. How random. And he pulled me in his office, and he took the 12 and 12. And he's like, I'm just going to start reading. He's like, if you have any questions, you stop me. If you disagree with anything, you stop me. And he just took off. And from that point on, I mean, I didn't have any issues with it. You know, I was brought up very religious, so religion is really not my thing. I'm more spiritual than religious, and boom, we took off. And I realized that this work is just easy. If you're ready to get honest with yourself, humbling is definitely the key. And expanding your mind. I mean, the hobbies that I acquired in learning about myself is crazy. It's like you get to introduce yourself to yourself again, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
you
your
know?
old self and your new self get to find the peace in between, you know, and make amends with yourself and move on from it. So when you say AA, to people that don't know out there, it's Alcoholics Anonymous, you guys. The 12 and 12 and, you know, the 12 steps, they're things that you do when you walk through the program, you walk through the steps. It's a healing process. We talk about it a lot on the show. Encourage everybody out there to do it, whether you're in recovery or not. Everyone can benefit from it.
Oh my
goodness, absolutely. So for you, what does a day look like for you in your space right now, emotionally, spiritually, physically? Like, what brings you joy in your life on a day-to-day basis?
I'm a creature of habit.
Me too.
I'm a creature of habit. I love getting up. So, I mean, it always changes, right? What I look like in early recovery and what it is now is completely different. I love the gym. I love cold showers. I love diets.
Cold showers, talk about this, because we talked about this a little bit. And I've heard about it a lot, the therapeutic benefits to doing this.
Oh my God.
So
it's like
just
night and day.
Educate us a little bit for people out there that are curious.
So, slow and steady wins the race, right?
Okay.
So I didn't want to overwhelm myself, but getting in, start with the shower room temperature. Take a shower. Now at the end of the shower, I just kind of inch at it, colder and colder until you get the shivers. You kind of want to change your breath. You know, like when you're too cold, you start breathing in, you're freezing. You get used to it. So I would do it initially for like 3 to 5 seconds. Then the next day, do it for 10 seconds. And then before you know it, you know, I'm taking a cold shower the whole time. So mornings, it's great. I don't start off like that. There are benefits to hot showers as well. But I'll start off with it lukewarm, room temperature, and then after the gym too.
Okay.
That's where I felt it was most beneficial, where I'm getting in there. It actually gives me energy. And then diet too. And
diet, yeah. And I think it's so important to just explore and try new things, right? As we're like rediscovering ourselves, like don't be afraid to go out and try new things. And you know, it's what's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're just not going to like it, right? Okay, go back to what you're doing before. But I find more times than not, if I go out and entertain and try new things and get out of my comfort zone, I realize so much about myself that I didn't know before, you know, and just so much growing happens in that process. What have you learned the most about yourself through this whole process?
Oh my God. That's a great question. What have I learned about myself? Discipline. Discipline's the key. It's the key to everything in life. Consistency and discipline. On a daily basis, like I said, a creature of habit, doing the same thing over and over again. It taught me to be sound. It taught me to be way more calm, relaxed, more observant. I'm hungrier more these days for knowledge, you know, like I find myself reading a lot more, researching, going down the rabbit hole, so to speak. Where do I begin?
But that consistency, I think, is really key. I know that's super key for me. So how has it changed your relationships with your family and friends, loved ones, since you've been on this journey?
I love that you asked that. So years ago, I guess my father and sister were like butting heads, you know, family issues. We all have them, right? And so I want to say maybe 2-3 years sober at the time. And so I was like big into the program, right? I was doing like the me work and helping other sponsoring people. And during my father and sister's fight, they FaceTimed me. And I was kind of like the intermediate, you know, like the ref, so to speak. And I'm like, I had that aha moment where it's like years ago, they would have never asked me for this. I didn't have the patience, the time I had, you know, and then now I'm here giving them my experience, strength, and hope, you know, and kind of situating and pointing out their negative behaviors and negative habits. And, you know, that was where I kind of realized, like, odds working. You know?
Absolutely. I see that too. And I see that with so many people that get sober. You know, we want to be of service. We want to be helpful. Friends and family start relying on us for that wisdom, you know, and, and that sound mind, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that leads me into what I want to talk about next is you found your passion and your purpose in helping others.
Oh, yeah.
And that became what you do for a living, which is so amazing to be able to find that and do that for work, you know, and find enjoyment with what you do every day.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you get involved in the companies you work for?
Good question. How did I get involved? So I went to a program. So when I got sober, I was in treatment for a year before I even left. Never thought I would do it. Most rewarding, though, to myself. I started house managing. I got a job at an art recovery, which I don't think is there any longer. And I house managed, and I worked with the facility that they would send us clients to, watch over and stuff like that. And so they knew me. Okay. And we built a relationship, like a trustworthy relationship. And then I started in from the ground up. I filled in my application.
Amazing.
Detox, residential, started as a treatment technician, worked my way all the way up to admissions. And then I did admissions for about 3 years. Working in treatment is interesting. I was a union guy for 10 years. Never thought I'd be doing anything like this in the world. If you would have told me 10 years ago, I would have been like, California, I get it a little bit in the gym. I get the feeling, but the ability to help someone and kind of share your wisdom and not really expect much in return from the individual makes me feel like a superhero, so to speak. Being in a position to help others and that selfishness is kind of, not a part of the picture is amazing. And so once I got a taste of that, I just took off. That's what it really was for me. Yeah,
that paying it forward and helping others and being of service. Until you do it, you don't understand like how rewarding it is.
You would never know.
And I tell people all the time, like, thank you for helping me stay sober today. Just by helping other people, they help me stay sober. It's just such a great feeling, and I encourage everybody out there to be of service and pay it forward in any way that you can, even just the smallest acts. I remember when I first started doing AA, and the sponsor I had at the time, she wanted me to do 3 random acts of kindness a day, and it would be the littlest things like pushing the cart back for somebody at the grocery store or opening a door for somebody. But it was those little habits and things that grew, and just that, like what you were saying, being humble, appreciative, and just being mindful of those little things. It's so rewarding, you guys. I would encourage you all to do it. So you got involved with Barn Life Recovery, which is a mental health outpatient facility, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so can you share?
Yeah. So Barn Life Recovery and Pure Mental Wellness, both, you get the best of both worlds with those programs. Primary mental health, PHP, partial hospitalization, IOP, and outpatient. Amazing program. So you're not going to get anything like what we offer in Orange County. I'll tell you that. You have your stereotypical program, whereas you have the doctor, psychiatrist, case manager, therapist, stuff like that. And then you have the holistic approach, the psychotherapy, ancient Eastern medication, studied and proven to work for over 5,000 years. You're talking Tai Chi, Qigong, all of the above, from cupping to acupuncture to Reiki. I mean, there's so much that they do, sound bath. And then you have like the fun groups, like the art, the musical groups. It's intriguing to see. Growing up, I was a sports guy, but then now you get into treatment, it's like, how many of these people are like musicians? It's like, this kid plays the guitar, amazing. And this one kid plays the piano, unbelievable. And so I say it a lot too. A lot of the people who like really want it, I get on the phone, I'm talking to them, they're like, oh my God, thank you. I'm so happy you picked up the phone today. And I'm like, helping you is helping me.
Yeah.
It's funny how they...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's funny how they... how it clicks for them. Once I say it and explain it to them like that, it's like they get a sneak peek of the program. And so What Barn Life and Peer Mental Wellness do, I mean, it's very individualized, the program, especially in mental wellness. A lot of it, you know, we use substances as a coping skill because of whatever it may be, PTSD, depression, anxiety, you name it, bipolar, you know, mood disorders. So the program's very individualized. Everyone has different traumas. Everyone has different underlying issues. And so that's the key, is to kind of tap into where the roots are.
Yeah.
And work your way out.
Right.
And, you know.
And those programs that you have, you guys, they're so different than anything I've seen for that area of expertise, you know, with the mental health outpatient. Your location, Barn Life Recovery in Costa Mesa, Orange County, California here. It's on a piece of land.
Oh yeah.
That used to be like a shipping.
The barn used to be like they used to repair ships in the back.
Right. So it's these huge containers, and you go in there, and it's so creatively done. Like when I went and toured the property, I'm like, wow, this is something very different, very unique. Just like you're talking about, it's very individualized for the clients. Everybody there seemed very engaged and just tapping in creatively in a different way than the typical groups and things that you normally see. So, and then your facility here in Santa Ana, the Pure Mental Wellness.
Right down the block,
It is just a very cool setting, very like natural, exposed elements, the center itself, very open, free, and just seeing, you know, what you're saying, like the cupping, the massage, all Reiki, these services, the Reiki, the music, all going on in there, and you're going, wow. They're truly doing something different. So
for everyone.
Yeah.
For everyone. The building reminds me of New York as well. Like I go in there and I got like a sneak peek of home too. I mean, even when I interviewed, when I initially wanted the job at Barn Life, I just walked in the place and I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
The energy changes immediately. It's so, even the offices, the dynamic of that place is unlike anything I've seen before. And, you know, I've been to a couple facilities. I worked in treatment for a while. I've, you know, toured a lot of facilities. And this was just like, wow, I need to be a part of this, you know.
Yeah.
Help people out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So where can people find you guys?
So barnliferecovery.com.
Okay.
And then purementalwellness.com. We have two websites, web forms. You can go right on the website, fill out a web form. You can call me as well. So I'm the admissions coordinator for both facilities. You can call me 949-877-2339. Anytime, my phone's always available. Be happy to help you.
So if people just have questions about recovery, about AA, about what mental health outpatient looks like, anything at all, someone can just give you a call and you will offer
James
them
B.
advice.
also at Barn Life Recovery. James B. at barnlifellc.com. And I also James B. at peermw.com. Any questions, all the above. So started in substance, now work in mental health.
Okay.
Be happy to speak with and even point you in the right direction. I mean, if we're not the best facility for you, it happens. You know, there are other facilities out there that I work with that do amazing stuff. So
that's great to know too. And I've called you for a referral.
Likewise.
And you gave me a great one.
Boom.
So yeah, so you guys, like, we're here just to help. You know what I mean? If it's not with us, let's get you somewhere where it's the right fit. All right, so a couple of fun facts before we wrap it up.
Sure.
So people can get to know you a little more on a personal level. So
Let's go.
have a dog.
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I wanted to bring her today.
I know.
I wanted to, but she's still a baby, and she would have loved it. She would have loved it, went crazy, but next time.
Okay.
Maybe next time, yeah.
Okay, so tell us all a little bit about your dog.
She's so big, so like all the dogs are like jumping on her, and she's still like young and doesn't really know what to do.
Yeah.
Ball of energy though, phenomenal. She's a registered emotional support animal. I bring her to work every Wednesday. So the clients can see her, and I mean, she does amazing work. She helps me out. Like if I'm on an intense phone call, I realize like, boom, she's like laying down right at my feet.
Dogs are the best for that.
It's crazy how it works. And even when I bring her on Wednesday for groups, it's like everybody loves Cotton. Cotton comes running out. They're all petting her, going crazy. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I think being around animals, you know, being grounded is definitely something that helps with recovery. I mean, spirituality was for me, but dogs are a big part of it.
Yeah, me too. I'm a huge animal person.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so fun question here. I'm going to put you on the spot. If you could be any superhero character, who would you be and
So simple.
why?
So simple for me.
Okay.
So simple. Superman.
Superman, and why?
Not a Batman guy.
Okay.
Spider-Man's cool. He's from Queens. But Superman, oh my God, he's an alien. He's unstoppable. He could do anything, see through things. I mean, he has all the above.
Okay.
You know, I
All
feel
the
like he
above.
gets a little hated on, you know, but people like to choose Batman or Spider-Man. They're cool. I take nothing away from it, but Superman is where it's at for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last question. Going forward, let's look 5 years from now. Where do you see yourself?
Oh my God, great. I don't know. I look into starting businesses. I don't know, maybe start my own business.
I could see you doing that.
Owning a business. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just kind of got into like the stock market recently.
Okay.
Part of being sober. It's like you learn, like we were talking about before, you learn so much about yourself. It's like I'm down all these rabbit holes now.
Yeah.
You know,
it's one big adventure.
Crypto, like I'm just
Oh, the
reading,
crypto, you got all that stuff.
Crypto,
Okay. Yep.
stock
That's
market.
a big rabbit hole.
Just starting, you know, just becoming more knowledgeable about more things. I mean, you got one life to live, right?
That's right.
So,
right on. One life to live, you guys. Make the most of it. Get into recovery. You become unstoppable, just like Superman, just like James over here. So thanks for coming on our show.
My
Really
pleasure.
appreciate it.
My pleasure. Happy to
Thanks,
help.
you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.